What if I told you humans once went to war with emus and lost? It sounds like a tall tale, but it's a true story that unfolded in the early 20th century. It might sound like a joke, but in 1932, Australia faced a formidable foe, the emu. These large, flightless birds became an unexpected adversary for the struggling farmers. Picture this. The Great Depression grips the world, and Australian farmers already struggling find their fields under siege. The economic hardship was already unbearable, and then came the emus. But these weren't your average crop-raiding pests. They were relentless, and their numbers were overwhelming. We're talking about emus, giant flightless birds standing nearly 6 feet tall and notorious for their stubbornness. Their sheer size and speed made them a formidable challenge. These feathered fiends descended upon farmland in droves, gobbling up crops and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. They moved in large groups, making it nearly impossible to fend them off. The farmers, at their wits' end, appealed to the government for help. They needed a solution, and fast. The government listened, perhaps a bit too eagerly. They saw this as an opportunity to take decisive action. They decided to declare war. Yes, an actual military operation against birds. Yes, you heard that right. War on emus. The stage was set for one of the most bizarre conflicts in history. The Great Emu War, as it came to be known, saw Australian soldiers armed with Lewis machine guns deployed to combat the avian enemy. This bizarre conflict took place in the early 1930s, when emus were wreaking havoc on farmlands in Western Australia. Imagine the scene: soldiers in full military gear, facing off against a mob of bumbling feathered giants. The emus, standing tall and proud, seemed almost to mock the soldiers with their sheer numbers and unyielding spirit. It was a sight to behold. The vast open fields became a chaotic battleground where man and bird clashed in an almost surreal confrontation. The soldiers, trained for human conflict, were utterly unprepared for the emus' unorthodox tactics. These birds moved swiftly and unpredictably, making it nearly impossible for the soldiers to aim accurately. These birds weren't afraid of gunfire. They seemed to have an uncanny ability to dodge bullets, almost as if they were playing a game. In fact, they seemed to find it rather amusing, scattering in all directions when shot at, making them difficult targets. The emu's erratic movements and sheer speed turned the battlefield into a scene of utter confusion and hilarity. The emus, you see, had a secret weapon: their speed and agility. These large, flightless birds could move with an unexpected swiftness that left their pursuers in the dust. They could easily outrun the soldiers and their vehicles, which were often cumbersome and ill-suited for the rugged Australian terrain. Their powerful legs carried them across the landscape with surprising grace and efficiency, making it nearly impossible for the soldiers to keep up. The soldiers, demoralized and outsmarted, were forced to retreat. Exhausted and frustrated, they realized that their conventional tactics were no match for the emus' natural abilities. The emus had won the first battle, standing tall and proud in their natural habitat, as if mocking the human invaders. Newspapers, both in Australia and abroad, had a field day, reporting on the emu war with a mixture of amusement and disbelief. Headlines captured the absurdity of the situation, turning it into a global spectacle. The Australian government, however, wasn't ready to admit defeat. Determined to regain control and save face, they strategized for another attempt. They launched a second attack on the emus, hoping to salvage some dignity and prove their dominance over the seemingly invincible birds. But the result was the same: chaos, confusion, and a resounding victory for the feathered fiends. The emus once again outmaneuvered the soldiers, leaving them bewildered and defeated in the vast outback. The Great Emu War, despite its grand title, was an embarrassing defeat for the Australian military. It stands today as a testament to the unpredictable nature of the natural world, and a reminder that even the most well-equipped armies can be outsmarted by a bunch of flightless birds. Humans 0, emus 1. Ever heard of a crazier war? The emus to this day remain undefeated. They roam free, a constant reminder of the time they outsmarted and outmaneuvered the Australian army.